I've been talking to Toni Kendell and Elise Bishop about making music in Melbourne and New Zealand, where both of you have been involved in recording and recording music, recording other people's music, and recording your own music. You were involved in the band. But we're back in Great Barrier Island now, and music's come with you. Tell us a little bit more about what that means here.
Well, kind of start off the story with finished the album and kind of finished being a band, and I came over to Great Barrier Island and started a family, and I was in constant communication with Elise. She was in Ballarat, just out of Melbourne. Then they came over to visit Elise and her partner Chris, and they fell in love with Great Barrier Island, as many people do, and then they moved here about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, heading up to 2 years.
2 years. And we kind of started jamming, and we've started another band.
Playing different instruments from what we used to play, just to give ourselves an extra challenge.
I'm starting to play guitar, and Elise is percussion, and with her partner Chris, he's on bass.
Yeah, and we're called Circle of Eyes. We're not ready to play quite yet.
No, we're still jamming and having fun. And then the opportunity came up to start a radio station / recording studio.
Yeah, so both Toni and I have got involved with a group called Tofu, and we're going to be running like a part-time low-power FM broadcasting service. Probably at the stage weekends.
Yeah, weekends, maybe 3 days, kind of over the summer, and see how we go.
Yeah, playing a diverse range of music and having some other programming as well. And one of our aims is to get a recording studio up and running.
I think your vision, Elise, was the best 4-track recording studio in
the world.
Because we quite like the analog. You know, I mean, that's where we both kind of came from. That's how we both learned, was analog recording systems.
And we've also
just stop there for a moment. What's the difference between analog and digital recording in the sense of analog to me is old-fashioned technology? So why keep it alive?
Well, it's like vinyl. You know, it's a nice, warm, organic sound.
Yeah, for me, it's about the sound of it. So, in my experience, I've experienced digital recording formats like digital tapes and computer-based recording and tape-based recording, and that includes like tapes from 1/8 inch wide to 2 inches wide, and tape sounds beautiful, sounds amazing. And it's also a nicer interface for me. I don't like looking at a computer screen to do a recording. It stresses me out. I'd rather have reels of tape and buttons to push.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear old-fashioned quality still appreciated. So what are you going to be recording? Oh, no, wait a minute. Firstly, what do you mean best 4-track recording studio in the world? What does that look like?
Oh, at the moment, it's just an empty room.
Yeah, it's at early stages yet, but the best 4-track. Before I left Melbourne, I had a 4-track reel-to-reel recording setup, which was 1/4 inch tape, and it sounded really great. Unfortunately, it involved a lot of maintenance and it weighed a lot, so I couldn't bring it with me. But we'll look to emulate that in some way. So at the moment, we've just got a little cassette tape 4-track that we're playing around with.
Yeah, which is okay.
Yeah. The other thing we have to think about is power, and you know, we want to not need an awful lot of power to do this. So we don't really want to run generators and stuff because they
interfere.
Yeah, they make the sound different.
Well, they make a lot of noise for starters.
Yeah.
So once you've got a recording studio, what are you going to record?
Well us.
Yep. And other like-minded people on the island. So if people are doing musical projects, then we'll be able to record them.
I'd really like to continue on that theme that we had at Jets in Melbourne. We're getting the youth involved with the radio and with the recording process. I mean, there's a lot of kids who are interested in music, and we don't care if it's rap or thrash, metal, if they have got an inkling towards playing music and they want to record something, I think that would be a really good avenue to go down. And then also just networks of people in New Zealand to come over and we can record them and put them up and they can have a great experience. I mean, a lot of bands would kill to come to an isolated area and just play music, just record, and hopefully we can do that.
Yeah, and I feel that quite strongly that getting good recordings is about having a good environment and having good food and just being relaxed and in the moment. So you can do that over here without the need for reams of high level technology.
So lots of potential.
Yeah.
And what are the first steps? What needs to fall in place for you to be able to do that?
Well, we need to get the space sorted out, so that needs a little bit of work.
Yep.
And we'll also need to get a bit more equipment. So between us, we've got a range of microphones and a recording device that'll start us off. And then we'll just be playing it by ear. We won't be trying to grow faster than we need to.
Yeah. And the radio should be up and running
Before Christmas.
Well, that should keep you busy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kept us pretty busy already.
Well, it sounds to me like you're full of projects and full of ideas to get things going.
Yeah, well, we'd really like to bring bands over to play shows as well. So there's an Australian band called Dead who are touring New Zealand in February, and we're hoping they'll come over and play a show here as well. And there's also a number of people who are involved in music who are talking about coming and spending some time on the island. So maybe, spending 12 months here and we'll make the most of them being around as well.
I've got an impression that you've got a good links and network with the music scene. Have you had a lot of interest for people to come over here? I mean, have you sort of put it to them?
Oh, people would love to come over here.
Well, yeah, it's just like, people say, oh, we must go there. The people, like the sound of it and stuff, but the actual getting here.
It's expensive for people and expensive for bands as well, especially if they have to bring gear over. So, yeah, I guess that's the little block there is the expense and the risk involved with bringing a band over here that they might not cover their costs. But, yeah, I think that people are keen.
Well, that leaves us keen to perhaps hear all this music. Look, Elise Bishop, Toni Kendell, we've been talking about your recording time, the music making, being involved in the band on, and your projects about recording more music here on the island. It's been a great little story, and I hope to get you back once we've got a bit more for you things happening in your studio down at Tofu FM.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rent.